uh, facing the truth, the importance of cutting costs. Listen, if you're constantly running out of money before you run out of month, it's not because the system is against you. And it's not because you're not making enough. It's because your money is walking out the door faster than you're telling it where to go. And if that stings a little, good. You need to feel it, because the only way to change your financial situation is to stop lying to yourself. Cutting costs isn't about depriving yourself. It's about taking control of your future and buying back peace for your family. Let me tell you something. Every dollar that slips through your fingers unplanned is stealing a little bit of your family's freedom. And that's just not okay. Let me share a story with you. A couple called into my show a while back. Great people, working hard, raising kids, doing the best they could. But they were drowning in debt, living paycheck to paycheck and feeling hopeless. They thought the only way out was to make more money. I asked them one question. Where's your money going right now? They didn't know. They couldn't tell me how much they spent on groceries last month or how much they were paying for that gym membership they hadn't used since New Year's. They were leaking money everywhere. Starbucks runs, eating out, subscription services they'd forgotten they even had. I told them what I'm telling you right now. More income won't solve a spending problem. If you don't fix the leak, pouring in more water isn't going to fill the bucket. Cutting costs isn't just a math problem. It's a mindset shift. It's about waking up and realizing that every dollar has a job, and it's your responsibility to assign it. If you don't, someone else will, whether it's a fast food drive through an Amazon impulse buy or that streaming service that quietly auto renews every month. Taking control of your spending isn't just an exercise in discipline. It's an act of love for your family. Imagine what you could do with the money you're wasting right now. Could you build an emergency fund, pay off a credit card, save for your kids' college? Cutting costs is the first step towards saying yes to those things and no to stress, fear, and uncertainty. I'm not saying it'll be easy. It's not fun to face your bank statement and see the reality of how much you're spending on things you don't need. But I promise you, the pain of seeing that truth is nothing compared to the peace you'll feel when you've got your finances under control. Cutting costs doesn't mean you're giving up your life. It means you're taking it back. So stop living in denial, roll up your sleeves, and get ready to fight for your future. Because it's not just about saving a few bucks. It's about giving your family the stability and freedom they deserve. You can do this. And it starts right here, right now, with the decision to face the truth and take back control. Here's the truth, folks. If you don't control your money will control you. And the tool you need to take control, a budget. Now, I know what some of you are thinking. The word budget sounds about as exciting as a trip to the dentist, right? Maybe you think it's just for people who are broke or for number, crunching nerds who get a thrill out of spreadsheets. Let me tell you something. Budgeting isn't about restriction. It's about freedom. It's about looking at your paycheck and deciding what you want to do for you and your family instead of wondering where it all disappeared to by the middle of the month. A budget is the foundation of every single financial victory you'll ever have. You cannot win without one, period. When you sit down to create your budget, you're giving every single dollar you make a job. No lazy dollars, no missing dollars, no mystery dollars.
Yeah. It's what we call Bazaral base budgeted, and it's as simple as it sounds.
You take your income for the month, subtract all your planned expenses, and the result should be zero.
Every dollar has a purpose, whether it's going to rent, groceries, gas, or savings.
You're the boss of your money, and it's your job to put it to work. Because if you don't, your money will wander off. And trust me, it doesn't wander to a good place. Now, let me be real with you. The first time you do a budget, it's probably going to look like a toddler's attempt at finger painting. Messy, confusing, frustrating. But just like that toddler, you'll get better with practice. The key is to stick with it. Sit down with your spouse, because if you're married, this is a team sport, and go through every category together. You need to be on the same page financially, or this whole thing won't work. If you're single, grab a trusted friend or accountability partner to keep you honest. There's no shame in asking for help. And let's talk about honesty for a minute.
When you're making your budget, you've got to be brutally honest with yourself. You can't budget $50 for groceries when you're spending $200.
You can't pretend that eating out 4 times a week doesn't cost you an arm and a leg. A budget isn't about how you wish things were. It's about dealing with how things actually are. And once you see the truth, you can start making changes. You might realize you're paying for 3 streaming services, but only watching 1.
Cancel the other 2. Maybe you're spending $300 a month on Starbucks.
Brew your coffee at home for a fraction of the cost. Those little adjustments add up in a big way. Now, some of you are thinking, Dave, I don't have enough money to make a budget work.
Yes, you do.
Budgeting isn't about having a lot of money. It's about being intentional with the money you already have. Whether you make $30,000 a year or $300,000, a budget works the same way. It's a tool to help you live within your means, save for what matters, and stop stressing about money.
And here's the best part. A budget gives you permission to spend.
Yeah, you heard that right. Want to go out to eat.
Put it in the budget. Want to buy a new pair of shoes. Put it in the budget. When you plan for those things ahead of time, you can enjoy them guilt-free because you know you're staying on track. It's not about saying no to everything. It's about saying yes to the things that truly matter and fit your goal.
So here's your homework. Tonight, sit down and make your budget for the next month. Write down every dollar you expect to bring in and every expense you'll have. Use pen and paper, a spreadsheet, or a tool like a spreadsheet, or a tool like EverDollar. It's time to stop letting your money boss you around and start telling it what to do. I promise you, once you get the hang of budgeting, you'll feel more in control than you ever have before. And that, my friends, is where financial peace begins. Decutting the fat, finding the money you're wasting. All right, folks, it's time to get real. If you're serious about changing your financial future, you've got to stop bleeding money. And trust me, most of you are leaking cash in places you don't even realize. It's time to cut the fat, and I'm not talking about skipping dessert. I'm talking about getting rid of all those little expenses that add up to big dollars over time. The ones that are quietly draining your wallet while you're busy wondering why there's nothing left by the end of the month. This is where the real work begins. It's not glamorous, it's not fun, but it's necessary. And if you do it, you're going to find money you didn't even know you had. Let's start with the obvious. Eating out. Listen, I love a good restaurant meal as much as the next person, but if you're stopping for fast food 3 times a week, grabbing Starbucks every morning, and ordering takeout because you don't feel like cooking, you're not just eating away at your paycheck, you're devouring it. Coffee here, a burger there. It doesn't seem like much in the moment, but when you add it up over a month, it's hundreds of dollars.
Hundreds. That's money you could be using to pay off debt, build an emergency fund, or save for something that actually matters.
Brew your coffee at home. Pack your lunch. Cook dinner. It's not rocket science. It's just discipline. And you might even find that you enjoy those meals more when you're not paying double for convenience. Next up, subscriptions.
Oh, this is a big one. How many streaming services are you subscribed to right now? Netflix, Hulu, Disney, Amazon Prime, plus Spotify, Audible, and that gym membership you haven't used since January.
Let me tell you something. If you're not using it, you're wasting it. Go through your bank statements this weekend and look for every single subscription or recurring charge. If it doesn't bring you joy or it's not absolutely necessary, cancel it.
And don't fall for that. It's only $10 a month excuse. $10 here, $15 there. It all adds up. If you cancel 3 or 4 of those subscriptions, you're looking at saving $50 to $100 a month.
That's a car payment, people. Or better yet, that's extra money to throw at your debt snowball and get one step closer to financial freedom. Now let's talk about your bills. I'm not saying you shouldn't pay your bills, but I am saying you shouldn't just accept the amount you're paying without question.
Most people don't realize you can negotiate almost anything: your cable bill, your internet, even your insurance premiums.
Pick up the phone, call your providers, and ask for a better deal. Tell them you're shopping around or considering switching to a competitor. You'd be amazed at how quickly they're willing to offer you a discount to keep your business. And if they don't, then shop around for real. Loyalty is great in relationships, but when it comes to your bills, loyalty is overrated. Go where the savings are. Here's another area to look at: unused stuff. How many things are sitting around your house that you never use? Clothes you haven't worn in years, gadgets collecting dust, toys your kids outgrew. Those items aren't just clutter. They're cash waiting to happen.
Have a garage sale, list them on Facebook Marketplace, or use an app like Poshmark or eBay. Turn that junk into money you can use to pay off debt or beef up your savings. And don't stop there. Think twice before bringing new stuff into your house.
If you don't absolutely need it, don't buy it. Remember, the goal here isn't to impress your neighbors. It's to build a future for your family. Lastly, let's talk about energy. Not your personal energy, though I hope you're fired up by now, but the energy your home uses. Are you leaving lights on in empty rooms? Running the act when nobody's home? Paying for a premium cable package when you only watch 2 channels? Stop it. These might seem like small things, but small things add up to big savings over time. Switch to LED bulbs, program your thermostat, and cut out the extras that aren't adding real value to your life. Saving money on your utilities is one of the easiest ways to free up cash without making huge sacrifices. The bottom line is this: cutting costs isn't about deprivation. It's about getting intentional. Every dollar you save by cutting the fat is a dollar you can put towards something that truly matter. It's about making choices that align with your goals instead of letting your money drift away on autopilot. So grab your bank statements, take a hard look at where your money's going, and start trimming the waste. It might not feel fun in the moment, but I promise you, when you see the results, when you finally have breathing room in your budget and progress toward your goals, it will all be worth it. You can do this. The money is there. You just have to go find it. You just have to go find it, thinking creatively, maximizing resources, and finding efficiency.
Let me tell you something, folks. Most people don't have a money problem. They have a creativity problem. When it comes to cutting costs and making the most of what you have, it's not about earning more or living on less. It's about thinking outside the box and using the resources you already have to their fullest potential.
Creativity isn't just for artists and musicians. It's a skill you need in your financial toolbox. The truth is, you probably have more opportunities to save and stretch your dollars than you realize, but you've got to open your eyes and get a little scrappy. Start with what's sitting right in front of you. The things you already own. How many items are sitting in your closet, your attic, or your garage, collecting dust because you're not using them? Those things are money. Sell them. Facebook Marketplace, Craigslist, eBay. These are your new best friends. That treadmill you're using as a coat rack, turn it into cash. The designer purse you haven't carried in 5 years. Someone out there is willing to pay for it. And here's the beauty of selling your stuff. Not only do you free up space in your home, but you also free up money to put toward your goal. And if selling isn't an option, swap. Have a clothing exchange with your friends, trade furniture with a neighbor, or barter your skills for something you need. You'd be surprised how much you can accomplish without spending a dime. Now let's talk about your habits. One of the best ways to save money is to simply change the way you do things. For example, if you're paying full price for anything, you're doing it wrong.
Use coupons, shop sales, and never pay retail when you don't have to.
Apps like Rakuten or Honey make it easy to find discounts online, and your local grocery store probably has a rewards program that can save you hundreds over the course of a year.
And don't sleep on thrift stores or discount outlets. Some of the best deals you'll ever find are in places you wouldn't expect. A little extra effort can lead to a lot of extra savings. And what about energy efficiency? This is one of the easiest areas to find savings if you're willing to make a few small changes. Turn off the lights when you leave a room. Unplug devices you're not using. Did you know that your electronics draw power even when they're turned off?
That's called phantom energy, and it's stealing from you every single day. Invest in a programmable thermostat and set it to use less energy when you're not home. These little adjustments can lower your electric bill by $20, $30, or even $50, or even $50 a month.
Over a year, that's hundreds of dollars back in your pocket, all for doing things you probably won't even notice. Another big area for creativity is how you feed your family. Meal planning is one of the best ways to save money, and it's not as complicated as it sounds. Sit down once a week, figure out what you're going to eat, and make a shopping list based on that plan. Stick to the list. You'll avoid impulse buys, cut down on food waste, and save a ton of money. And don't be afraid to embrace the freezer aisle. Frozen vegetables and proteins are just as nutritious as fresh, and they're often way cheaper. Get creative with leftovers, too. That roast chicken from last night can become chicken tacos tonight and chicken soup tomorrow. Stretching your meals isn't just smart, it's a skill. But let's go even deeper. Sometimes being creative means rethinking the way you entertain yourself and your family. Do you really need to spend $100 at the movies when you can have a movie night at home for free? Make some popcorn, dim the lights, and throw on a classic. Instead of expensive outings, take advantage of the free or low-cost activities in your community. Parks, libraries, local events. There's a ton out there if you're willing to look for it. And guess what? Those experiences often create better memories than blowing money on something flashy.
Here's the thing. When you embrace creativity, you stop focusing on what you can't do because of money, and you start seeing all the things you can do without it. It's about shifting your mindset from scarcity to resourcefulness.
Instead of thinking, I can't afford that, start asking, how can I make this work? That question opens doors. It leads to solutions. And the best part, it gives you back a sense of control. Because when you're creative, you're not at the mercy of your paycheck. You're in charge of your choices. The bottom line is this. Creativity isn't a luxury. It's a necessity. It's the secret weapon that lets you maximize every dollar, every resource, and every opportunity you have. So take a good, hard look at your habits, your home, and your mindset, and start thinking differently.
The money you need is already there. You just have to get creative to find it. And when you do, you'll discover that saving isn't about sacrifice. It's about smart, intentional living.
You've got this. Now go make it happen. Focus on family goals, turning saving money into a team effort. Here's the deal. If you're going to change your financial future, you can't do it alone. This is especially true if you have a family. You've got to get everyone on the same page, pulling in the same direction. Because let me tell you, trying to build wealth when your spouse or kids are spending money like you've got a printing press in the basement, that's like trying to run a three-legged race with your partner going the opposite way. You'll end up frustrated, exhausted, and stuck in the same place. Financial success isn't just a solo mission. It's a team effort. And when your family is united around the same goals, it's amazing what you can accomplish together. The first step is to sit down and have a real, honest conversation about money. I'm talking about laying it all out on the table. Your income, your bills, your debt, your dreams, everything. This isn't the time for blame or guilt. It's about getting everyone to understand the big picture. If your kids are old enough, include them in the conversation.
They don't need to know every detail, but they should understand that money doesn't grow on trees and that every choice has a consequence. Kids are smart. They pick up on more than you think. If you explain why you're cutting back or making changes, they'll get it. And guess what? They might even get excited about helping. Kids love a challenge, and they love feeling like they're part of something bigger than themselves. Once you've got everyone on board, turn saving money into a game. That's right, a game. People, especially kids, respond to challenges way better than they respond to rules. Set a family goal like saving $500 for a weekend road trip or paying off a credit card by the end of the year.
Then Track your progress together. Create a visual chart, a thermometer, a mountain, whatever works, and color it in as you get closer to your goal. Celebrate the milestones along the way. Maybe it's a pizza night when you hit 25 or a movie night when you reach 50s.
These little rewards keep everyone motivated and remind you
Why you're doing this in the first place. And here's the thing. Teamwork doesn't just make the process easier, it makes it more meaningful. When your family is working together toward a common goal, you're not just saving money, you're building stronger relationships. You're teaching your kids the value of hard work, delayed gratification, and financial responsibility. Those lessons are worth more than any amount of money because they'll carry those principles into their own lives. Think about it. Wouldn't you love for your kids to grow up and avoid the financial mistakes you've had to overcome? Wouldn't you love for them to know the joy of living debt-free and the freedom of being in control of their finances? That starts with you right now setting the example. And don't think this is just about the kids. If you're married, your spouse needs to be your biggest teammate in this journey. You've got to be on the same page or this whole thing will fall apart. That means regular budget meetings, open communication, and mutual respect. If one of you is a natural spender and the other is a saver, you've got to find balance. Spenders don't fight the budget. It's not there to ruin your fun. It's there to give you a better future. Savers, don't forget to build in a little room for fun because life isn't just about paying bills and saving for retirement.
It's about finding joy in the journey. The key is to work together, compromise where you need to, and stay focused on the bigger picture.
Let me give you an example. A family I spoke to recently was drowning in debt. Student loans, car payments, credit cards, the works. They decided enough was enough and made a plan. They cut back on eating out, started meal planning, canceled a few subscriptions, and sold some stuff they didn't need. But the real magic happened when they got their kids involved. They turned it into a challenge. Whoever found the best way to save money that week got to pick the Friday night activity. The kids got creative. One suggested turning off the act and opening the windows to save on the electric bill, while another found a coupon for half-price bowling. By the end of the year, they had paid off $20,000 in debt. And you know what they told me? The money was great, but the best part was how much closer they felt as a family. That's what this is all about. It's not just about dollars and cents. It's about building a legacy of teamwork, trust, and financial freedom. So sit down with your family tonight. Talk about your goals. Make a plan and start working together because when you're united, nothing can stop you. And one day when you're debt-free and living your dreams, you'll look back and realize that the journey wasn't just worth it. It was the best part of all. Staying the course. Celebrate progress and stay focused. Here's the truth. Building financial peace is not a sprint. It's a marathon. It's not something you do in a weekend or even in a year. It's a journey, one step at a time, and the only way you're going to make it to the finish line is by staying the course. That's the hard part, isn't it? The excitement of starting something new fades. The sacrifices start to feel heavier, and the goal seems so far away. But listen to me. This is where the magic happens.
This is where you grow. This is where you build the habits, the resilience, and the discipline that will carry you through the rest of your life. You didn't get into financial trouble overnight, and you're not going to get out of it overnight either.
But if you stick with it, you will win. I promise you that. One of the keys to staying the course is to celebrate your progress along the way. That's right. Celebrate. Sometimes when you're focused on the big goal, it's easy to overlook how far you've already come. Don't make that mistake. Every debt you pay off, every dollar you save, every step forward is a victory. So take a moment to acknowledge it. Did you pay off your first credit card? Throw a little party at home. Something simple but special. Maybe you cook a favorite meal or watch a family movie. Did you hit your emergency fund goal? Treat yourself to something within your budget. Celebrating these milestones isn't just about feeling good. It's about keeping your momentum going. It reminds you that the sacrifices you're making are worth it. But here's the thing. Celebrating doesn't mean losing focus. The danger is getting too comfortable and slipping back into old habits. This is why you've got to keep your why front and center. Why are you doing this? Maybe it's so you can finally stop living paycheck to paycheck. Maybe it's to provide a better future for your kids. Maybe it's to retire with dignity or to give generously to causes you care about. Whatever it is, write it down. Stick it on your fridge, your bathroom mirror, your computer screen, anywhere. You'll see it every day. When the going gets tough, and it will, that why is what will keep you moving forward. Another critical part of staying the course is tracking your progress. You've got to measure what matters. If you're paying off debt, keep a chart where you can see the balance shrinking every month. If you're saving, watch that emergency fund grow. There's something incredibly motivating about seeing the numbers change in the right direction. It makes the process feel real and tangible.
And don't forget to share your progress with someone who's rooting for you. Maybe it's your spouse, a close friend, or even an online community. Accountability and encouragement go a long way in keeping you on track.
And let's talk about setbacks, because they're going to happen. Life isn't going to pause just because you're working on your finances. The car will break down. The act will go out.
The kids will need braces. It's not a matter of setbacks will happen, but the key is not letting those setbacks derail you. Remember, an emergency doesn't mean you failed. And remember, an emergency doesn't mean you failed. It just means you're human. That's why you build an emergency fund. That's why you plan for the unexpected. When life throws you a curveball, adjust your plan and keep going. You might have to press pause for a moment, but you don't quit.
You don't throw in the towel. You keep fighting because your future is worth it. Finally, never lose sight of the big picture. This journey isn't just about money. It's about freedom. It's about living a life where you're not chained to debt, where you're not stressed about how you'll cover the next bill, where you can say yes to opportunities instead of no, because you're broke. Imagine what that kind of life will feel like. Imagine the peace, the security, the joy of knowing you're in control of your money instead of your money controlling you. That's what you're working toward. That's what's waiting for you on the other side of this journey. So keep going. Stay the course. Celebrate your wins, but don't get complacent. Keep your eyes on the prize. Track your progress, and don't let setbacks stop you. This isn't easy, but it's worth it.
And when you cross that finish line, when you're debt-free, financially secure, and living the life you've dreamed of, you'll look back and realize something incredible. The journey wasn't just about the destination. It was about who you became along the way.
And that person?
They're unstoppable. So go make it happen. You've got this